All right. And we are live. Welcome to The Lion Show. I'm your host, your favorite business coach, Robert Lyon. Today, we have the great pleasure of talking with Seth. He is the CEO of Vine Concepts and an awesome SEO guy. So, Seth, why don't you just tell everybody like who you are and what you're all about?
Yeah, awesome. First of all, thanks for having me in. So like you said, my name is Seth. I've been doing SEO for about 10 or 11 years now. I kind of got into it just back when I was in high school, had like a crappy job like anybody else in high school, and kind of just wanted to decide or learn how to make money for myself rather. Came across SEO and just kind of been doing it ever since. Started off doing affiliate sites and kind of just selling some of my own products, and then really transitioned into client SEO the last 6 or 7 years. And that's kind of been where my focus has been since then.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So Vine Concepts, you want to kind of talk a little bit? What is the Vine concept? What does that mean?
So it took me probably way longer than it should to come up with a brand name. Like I hired like a company to help me out, and like we were running through like dozens of names every day.
Yeah.
And then when I came across this name, it kind of just hit me. Like I had the idea of like somebody like climbing up the vine, like climbing up the rankings. So that's like my little tagline. Yeah. So it kind of
I think it's cool.
Yeah. I came out with it like when the company Vine, like the video company, remember them?
Yeah.
Like the 6-second videos. So like when I came out with the name, people thought that I was somehow related to Vine. Like you have no idea how many client calls they'd be like, "Oh, are you related to Vine?" I'm like, "No."
You can rank me in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you work mostly with like construction companies and like the housing. And are you in New York? Is that where
I'm
you're
in
located?
New York. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of local or everywhere?
Kind of everywhere. Like some of my first clients were local just because I did a bunch of like cold calling and wanted to just like meet people face to face when I got started. But since then, like I haven't met most of my clients. It's just everything's kind of throughout the United States.
Nice. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I used to own a pay per lead agency. So I would basically rank and rent tons and tons of like roofing companies, hardwood flooring, plumbers. And what I would do is I would just spam with GMBs. Like, I mean, this is before they kind of cracked down, and I would just spam the crap out of everything. And it worked really well for a little while. And then they all fucking died basically.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Wondering what do you see that's working nowadays for, all the business owners out there? It's SEO.
Yeah. So I've always had like a super conservative approach to SEO. Like I've always had like the mindset I'll explain to clients, like I treat their brand kind of like how I treat my own personal website. Like
Yeah.
I've never been willing to like lose my own GMB and just like rebrand it with like an alternate name or anything. So I kind of have had the same approach with client stuff. So like honestly, like my approach has not really changed all that much over the past like whatever number of years. Just like super conservative, like optimizing the GMB, obviously like competitor research, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The citations are big. And then beyond that, like the big thing that's changed for me is going from like PBNs to like actual backlinks, like doing like real outreach and like providing content and things like that. So that's been like the biggest shift.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how like kind of how is your business structured? Do you have like a lot of people helping you, or is it just kind of you cranking out content, or what do you do?
Yeah. So for a lot of years it was just me because I was kind of like afraid to give off some of the responsibility and stuff. But recently I've worked on growing my team. So now I have somebody who handles like all the link outreach.
Nice.
I have somebody who's doing content. And then I have 3 different people working on like sales outreach, and I'm working on building a team of people to help like work on sales calls. But right now that's just me. So like at this point, my role is like handling any legit leads that come in, closing them, and then kind of overseeing the process of fulfillment. Like I also have somebody who's doing like the competitor keyword research, doing the SEO audit. So I think altogether it's like 6 of us at this point.
That's awesome though, man.
Yeah.
Building it up. I mean, that's all you really need. You just need a few people that are good at what they do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then the way I do SEO nowadays is I build like a SEO shield. I make like all these like bloggers and Twitters, and then I Amazon, and then I just hammer those with like links, and as well as buy press releases. Do you do anything like that, or like is it mostly just all link white hat stuff?
Yeah, so like I'll do some of the press release stuff and like some lower like tier 2 quality links, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I haven't done like a lot of the mass stuff. Like what kind of stuff are you using to kind of hit those tier 2s at this point?
Honestly, I'm just buying links from kind
Oh,
of
okay.
bigger brands like Semantic Mastery people and like the little red guy, I can't think of his name, and then like Backlinko. So that's kind of what it's doing. So they're kind of PBNs, but I try and go for like better quality ones.
Yeah.
I don't like writing content for other people's
Me neither,
blogs.
man. It's
know?
brutal.
Yeah.
I used to do all that by hand too, and like after
Okay.
like the first few months, it's like I can't be doing this every day. Like this
Yeah.
is a lot.
I'm really liking press releases though, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of press releases, or is it just kind of special every now and then?
Yeah, so it's more like every now and then, because a lot of
Yeah.
the times, like, what is a roofing company gonna do a press release for? Like we kind of have to like be
Awesome
creative
roofs.
about it. Yeah. So, but yeah, I've noticed like it definitely helps. Like just get like a variety of links out there. Especially a lot of those tend to be like a mix of like do follow and no follow links, which is just good for the like authenticity of the link profile, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I like to think of like I build this SEO shield. So I have like this, like the main entities in the middle, and I have all
Right.
these little things outside. And then I just hit it with the press releases, and then I also add the social signals. So I'll also run like a whole bunch of ads at it at the same time. And whenever I do that combination, as well as like some other like stuff, that seems to really push the websites to the top of the search rankings. And I just think it's really awesome. But
Nice. Wait, so you're running ads to the social media pages, like to get, that's how you're
yeah,
getting your, okay,
well, like
interesting.
I'll run ads from YouTube, Facebook, and like maybe Twitter or something like that, but usually Facebook and YouTube and Google. And then I'll run it to the page that I'm also boosting with the press release. And
Nice.
then sometimes I get even weirder where I'll stack press releases. So like I'll have the main keyword and I'll get a press release of that. And then I'll have the lower next page and I'll do another press release of that. And then I'll hit them all with like the social signals. And whenever I do that, it tends to just boost the ranking for at least a few months. And then it does the, the bounce and stuff like that.
Sure.
But it's just a cool way that I've found that it like gets me pretty fast. Like if I really want to focus on a keyword, like I mean, it's a little bit of money more than just like getting links in from people, but it works. So I just find it kind of fun.
Yeah, no, that's actually, I've never heard of anybody doing that. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Cause something about getting social links and other links from the press releases makes Google like it seems like it's going viral or something like that.
Right.
In
Exactly.
theory, So I don't know, but it works for whenever I want to sell some products or like I'm boosting, I'm trying to build this like entrepreneur coach. So I'm trying to rank for like marketing coach and entrepreneur coach. And I just started doing that. And it just totally went from like, just as soon as it got out of the sandbox, like I just hammered it with these things and it was ranking like number 2, like pretty fucking quick. And then now it went back down. But I think if I keep attempting things like that, it's eventually going to rank and bring me a bunch of business. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Nice. Very cool.
Man. What kind of affiliate sites did you used to make back in the day? Do you have anything like that?
Yeah. So, so the earliest one I remember was like a how to get your ex back program. And like, I don't even know why I started with that, but like, it was somebody who like taught me, that's what they were promoting. So I think I just like rolled with that. Like I was trying to just model what they were doing at the most basic level.
For some reason, all the gurus made their money in like relationships.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just where I started.
Yeah.
So I've done that. And then I've done, the most recent one I actually worked on because I kind of got back into it again is vertical jump programs. Right. So like for basketball, I work out a lot and like I play basketball and like I actually in recent years have been attempting to like dunk. Right. So like I went through a bunch of programs and like I actually had experience with a lot of them and started just writing content about which programs have worked the best for me and all that kind of stuff. So that was like the most recent one I went into.
Man, I'm like 6'3" and I can't dunk. So I feel I need to get on that. And I remember I had a buddy of mine, he's like 5'9" maybe. And he just fucking had that leap, man. And he could dunk on me and it would piss me off. But it's because he did one of those programs. So that's kind of funny.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You get a few sales? What do you do? Like, is it like a course or is it like a
product? So I never got like on with the affiliate stuff because it's never been my main focus because of the client stuff. I didn't even take it as far as like getting sales, but like I just wrote some content and everything and I got it kind of ranking, but I never really optimized it. And like initially when I made the site, I wanted to turn it into a course, like kind of combining the best of everything I learned from
Yeah.
a bunch of different courses. Or like just one-on-one consulting with people, like where they were hitting roadblocks and kind of figuring out how I can kind of just provide input that was missing from some of these courses. But like I said, I never took it that far.
Right.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah, for sure. No, it goes into the abyss of, man, I have so many damn websites that
I know.
like, it gets pretty intense when I look at them and I'm just like panic attack.
Sometimes I get renewal notices from GoDaddy in my email. And for websites I haven't looked at in months, I'm like, shit, like, what is this? Like, I didn't even know I still own this domain anymore.
What was that idea? They're all gold though at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. So what are you doing right now to kind of generate sales and get new people into your pipe stream, I guess?
Yeah, so the main thing I'm working on right now is really optimizing cold email. In the past, I've relied either on like super mass outreach, like when I first started, and which is obviously highly inefficient, and just like going through so many burnt proxies, burnt email addresses, like it was just not worth the time. And then for the most part, like the last 6 or 7 years, I've just relied on referrals, which obviously are good because you don't have to do much, but also inconsistent because you don't know like when or where they're going to be coming from. So like I said, I've experimented with cold email a little bit more in the mass scale, but I've kind of refined my approach a little bit to where I'm kind of doing very specific outreach on like the kind of customers I really want. And then beyond that, I'm personalizing like each and every email in some capacity. And then I'm just going to, once I like find an offer that kind of really works, I'm going to be scaling it a little bit more. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Nice. Have you tried sending like little videos? I did that for a little while. Right?
Yeah. So I haven't done video on like the first contact. What I've done in the past is like, I'll like mention that there is a video if they're interested. And then I'll make the video like in the response to them, which has worked well in the past also.
Yeah. That's awesome. Have you been like getting better at copywriting, trying to get these sales?
Yeah. That's always an ongoing thing is copywriting. I've been kind of just reading books and like learning from other copywriters for like the last couple years, I'd say.
Yeah. So I used to do this thing with like Yesware, where I would just like get everybody's freaking email and then I would just like mass spam everybody until I finally got someone to contact. And I blew out some IPs and things like that too. So now you're saying you just kind of focus on like a few and you just send them direct messages? Yeah,
exactly. So like I'll like let's just say like I have 100 different roofers. Like I'll really focus in and like find 100 roofers that fit like whatever the requirements are, like budget or like estimated budget, like team size, like age of business, like whatever it is, like 100 that like if they were to say yes, like I would definitely take them on. And then beyond that, just doing research on like the main point of contact, like whatever we can find some kind of angle in to like either provide value or just like comment on something that they've done good in their business, like to show that we've like taken a specific interest in them. I've just found that has significantly like improved conversions and like response rate of their willingness to just get on a call with me and hear what I have to say, because so many other people are doing like what we just talked about, just like mass emailing and sending out a super generic message. And like, it's kind of just like gotten thrown aside.
It's so crazy. Like I own a brick and mortar business and I get spammed all the time. And it's like, I mean, it's because I'm ranking a little bit, but like everybody's business, they're like get phone calls, too many freaking emails, text messages now. Like they're just like, they're hungry call centers pretty much that are just like dying to attack business owners. And then, so do you have any cool success stories recently of a company you took on and ranked?
Yeah. So
traffic for?
like that's something I've kind of been working on recently, is just like building up my case studies. I didn't do too good of a job at that at first. But I had, not exactly in the niche that we've been talking about, but it's just the first one that popped into mind. A home theater company that we just took. They are based in Long Island, New York. And when we got them, basically had no organic traffic whatsoever. And then I just, over the past like 2.5 years, have just built up their traffic, like literally almost like 3,000% from like where it was. And just built like hundreds of links and everything. And like, they're kind of showing up in the top 3 of the maps listings for like home theater related searches in like like the 6 or 7 like primary cities like around their store. So that's like one of my best performing, I guess, clients, I guess.
That's a good niche, man. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's cool because like one client for them, like in a year, could more than pay for the campaign they're investing with me like 2 or 3 times over, because they're just like super high end.
Yeah, and I bet New York's got some real nice like home theater fucking setups going on.
Oh yeah, like in the basement, like their store is basically like a showcase for like what your home could look like.
Oh,
And their basement, it's like ridiculous. It's like you feel like you're sitting in a movie theater, like the surround sound like through the walls and like the theater style seating. It's like it's insane.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What other companies do you do? Do you actually do any roofing companies? Because I tried to do some roofing stuff and it's a pain in the ass, man. But that's the same sort of thing where you get like one customer and it pays for everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have 2 roofing companies in Texas, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then the other ones I've done are like garage repair. And I'm really trying to get more into HVAC and stuff.
Yeah. You ever tried to like spam the storms? Like whenever there's a big hailstorm, you're like,
yeah.
That's just kind of funny shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, yeah, man, it sounds really awesome. I really appreciate like all the stuff that's going on. What are you doing now to get links, like to get them white hat links? Do you have any like tactics on that?
Yeah. So the main thing, like I'll start by just identifying first the keywords that we want to rank for. And then after that, taking a look at what their competitors in the top like 5 or 10 have links for, and seeing like the first thing I'll do is seeing how many of those links that we can just get ourselves to just kind of match where they're at as best we can. And then beyond that, just kind of, again, using the same techniques that I mentioned for cold email outreach for client acquisition, we use the same kind of tactics for link building and just reaching out to a bunch of different potential companies that other competitors in the top 10 don't have, and just seeing like how we can help them with any kind of content, or if it requires like a paid link placement, like we'll discuss that as well. But yeah, just kind of seeing like where we can provide value to them in exchange for links, and just doing that, not necessarily at scale, just kind of whatever we need to get into the top 3. Because like I'm sure, as you're aware, like certain local niches, like you don't really need too many links. Like if the on page and the GMB and the citations and stuff are all done right, then like oftentimes like I'll just focus on building like maybe like 2 to 3 links a month, probably a little more at first, just to kind of accelerate the results as much as possible for them. But then after that, kind of just at like 2 or 3 a month.
Just keep building it. That's awesome, man. So I have this great conundrum where like I like building these websites with Thrive themes, right? And but Thrive themes is kind of like a bloated platform. So I've been kind of switching to Oxygen, and I hate Oxygen. So I want to know.
I hate Oxygen.
I hate it, dude. Do you think it's important though for speed optimization? Like how important do you think it is to have a fast website?
Yeah. So I'm all in on the website speed stuff. Like I don't have any data to prove it, but like just in talking to a lot of people, like they say they've noticed a significant difference. And also just from like a human standpoint, like if you go on a website and you click it and within 2 or 3 seconds it's not loading, like you're most likely just going back to the page. Like so I'm all in on trying to make it as fast as possible. I've explored Oxygen and I do not like it, so I've just switched to Elementor right now. I'm using and I'm using like a blank theme. They have like the theme Hello. It's just like a super blank theme. And then I try and use as much custom code as possible within that, so that I don't need to install plugins. Like obviously like my form building and stuff, it doesn't really pay to custom code a form, but just wherever I can, I custom code it. Just keep the website as streamlined as possible. I think the hosting is big. I've switched to like Kinsta hosting. Have you heard of Kinsta?
Yeah, I think I have. They're a little more expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think I pay like 35 or 40 a month.
That's not bad.
Yeah. But so I switched to Kinsta hosting. And then I have like a good website compression plugin. I'm blanking on the name. That converts all my images to the WebP format. And they're like super lightweight. And then I have the plugin WP Rocket, which like pretty much handles most of the rest of it.
That's pretty much the go-to.
Yeah. So between those things, I feel like there's probably a couple others I'm forgetting. My website's usually load like in under a second and a half, which like is decent enough. I feel like, yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's night and day though. When I use Oxygen, it's like something like a 98 out of 100 on the Google speed for Oxygen. And then it's like 40 for Thrive. And I'm like, God damn, man.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but I like the idea of just using Elementor and then just making as much custom code. Do you do the coding? Is that kind of your thing?
It depends on how complex it gets. Like I just personally have an interest in like design and stuff. So like I'll at times try and learn whatever I can and just for fun build it myself. But if I can't, I do have a guy who will build custom pages and stuff. Like I'll just present the designs of what I'm looking for and then like he'll kind of build it.
Nice. How'd you find that guy? That'd be useful.
Just Upwork actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and I'm sure he can like use more work. So if you ever like want to get in contact. Yeah.
Dope. Nah, I'm thick-headed. I try and do everything myself until I can't, and then I freak out.
Exactly. That's exactly. Trying to get better at that.
Yeah. It's broad, but do you have any tips for like conversion optimization? Do you have any ideas on what like seeing things work better for stuff?
Yeah. So
come to mind.
I guess like something that I've just found that's worked for me is like keeping the color scale like super simple and like using your like call to action items as like the main differentiating color. Like I've noticed a lot of websites have so many different colors because they think that their like color palette needs to have like so many different complementary colors. And like I've noticed like a lot of successful websites just start out with like not necessarily black and white, but like that kind of a scale, like a monochromatic scale. And then like they have shades of that color like for their accents and shadows, and then like their call to actions or in the super important sections are like their complementary color. So that's the first thing. The second thing would be just the website speed, like we talked about.
Yeah.
And then after that, like just speaking, like this is going back to more about copywriting, like speaking just super specifically to your audience and like not really trying to sound like a company, like just sound like you're kind of talking to them and responding to exactly like what they came to your website for and like addressing their need rather than like what you think you're trying to sell, if that makes sense.
No, totally. You got to be like super specific and you sell more. There's
exactly
like all fairy tales and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like, this is what you're going to get if you click this button now.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool, man. How is it running an SEO company? You love it?
I do. Yeah. I mean, the main benefits are just like kind of being in control of everything that I want to have in terms of like my time and like how I choose to run the campaigns and everything. Like I started off before going on my own, like doing SEO for a different company, and everything from like the decision to buy a WordPress plugin like could take a week to get approved with like the budget and like the people above me. So like just having the ability to kind of take more significant action like on a whim, it's kind of nice.
Nice, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, my problem was I'd make all these people. Well, it basically started out where I'd make these people's like business pretty much. I would build it from the ground up, rank it, and then they would be like, "Oh, I don't know why all the customers are coming. It's word of mouth. It's not your website." So I'd get fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And then I basically would switch to where I would make my own websites, and then I would make my own little fake businesses, and it just kind of became this whole thing. And what happened is I wound up directing all the ones that I was having sent to like clients just to the affiliate call centers. So I'd make all these leads, and then it just kind of became like a passive income thing.
Right.
And I wound up just kind of selling it. And I haven't really done SEO for other people. I've mostly just been working on like affiliate sites and ranking my own little businesses. And I don't know, it's gotten pretty crazy. Do you have any tips on focusing on like one website at a time, or like instead of getting too scattered or anything?
Yeah. I mean, this is something I feel like most entrepreneurs will say this is like kind of always a work in progress. I guess for me, like it really just comes down to being more clear on like breaking down specific like overarching goals into daily tasks. This way, like I can see like how much there really is to do for a given project, and like having that task list kind of makes it harder to divert my attention to like a bunch of different things. Because like when something is just like in theory, you're like, oh, like I know I need to like finish X, Y, and Z project. Like it's easier to kind of have that appear to be something like so distant in the future that it's easier to kind of view multiple things ongoing at once, when in reality, like you're not really getting anything done. So like I've just tried to break it down into like daily tasks, like weekly goals, monthly goals, and just focus that way.
Nice. And
Yeah.
I guess this is my pretty selfish question, but so how do you safely cold email people nowadays in the 2021s and things?
Yeah. So safely in terms of what exactly?
Well, I mean, I guess I used to send too many, so like
Oh,
Google would
okay.
shut me down, so I'd have like a weird Google account, and then like it would just it would go straight to spam, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, do you have any tips on that?
Yeah. So the first thing is, depending on where you buy the domain, some of this will be set up already, some of it won't. But there's 3 different like DNS records you need to set up that
Yeah.
basically just improve the deliverability of the email. It's like the SPF record, DKIM record, and the DMARC record. So that's like the first thing I'll do before even sending an email. The second thing is warming up the email address. So for this, like basically over a 2-week period, just go from like starting off like you're not sending anything on the first
Uh-huh.
day to like by the end of the second week, you're like sending or receiving anywhere between like 15 and 20 emails a day. And like you could accomplish this by like subscribing to newsletters like that you can later unsubscribe from. But just
Right.
at first, like get email flow through. And then if you have spare accounts, just like sending emails like to and from other accounts that like you're going to open and reply to. This way, like Google knows it's not spam. Um, let's see what else. Beyond that, there's also tools to like kind of automate that process. If you don't want to be doing it manually over the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's really just like slowly scaling it up. Like if you want to have that email address long term. So like after the 15 to 20, like the next week, when you start actually sending emails to clients, like keep it at like 20, 25 emails a day. And then like the week after, like maybe cap it at 35, 40. And then like by the end of like a 5 or 6 week period, you can send like safely up to like 75 emails a day.
Nice.
And then there's one more thing I'm forgetting. Oh
All
yeah.
that was
So
gold.
yeah, not gold, but like make sure your emails are not bouncing. So like nobody wants to pay for like email address verification,
Mhm.
but I think it comes out to like fractions of a penny for each email address, and like it can save you the cost of the entire email. Like you spend weeks building up the email address, so to make sure the bounce rate is low
Yeah.
is like a huge thing, because if even 5% of your emails bounce, like long term the email is just not going to last. Like you're just going to start getting blacklisted everywhere.
Oh, man.
So just making sure that the emails are legit before you send them is like a huge thing.
Nice. And then do you have like a drip sequence that you just send? Like you get the email and then it's already in your CRM and it just kind of goes?
Yeah. So I don't really have, I know like this is where I'm kind of working on getting more organized myself. I don't have a CRM.
Oh,
I'm kind of just like monitoring the campaigns by hand.
yeah.
But like within the email tool, like we do have like an automated sending tool. So like once the first email is sent, like depending on the campaign, like between 4 and 7 days later, the follow-up is sent.
Yeah.
And then I'll have like 1 or 2 more follow-ups after that, like spaced out like 4 days apart. And then
Awesome.
after that, if they don't respond at all, I'll kind of just drop them off and then put them in like a separate bucket, like maybe to reach out to in a couple months.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah,
I mean, it seems like you got the systems going though. So that's pretty freaking cool.
yeah.
Um, how do you like keep your team organized? Are you on the phone? Do you have like an app that you like, or what do you do with them?
I've just transitioned most of my conversations at this point to either WhatsApp or Slack, depending on who I'm talking to. Try to keep it as consolidated as possible. Like I'm pretty easy to work with. Like
Yeah.
I try to have like all my systems, like you said, it seems like I have that in order. Like I've really worked on trying to make everything like super step by step so that I can hand it to somebody who's never seen my business before and be able to execute what I'm talking about. So like I'll do, like I said, step by step documents, like video walkthroughs of me doing stuff. And just like at first, like when I'm onboarding somebody, make myself like super available to answer questions on like if they need help like executing the process. So then after that, like it seems like I've just had good experiences, I guess, working with people. So I don't spend too much time on like conversations with people who help me with this stuff. Like
Yeah.
I just like say like, hey, like here's the task for today, or like here's the new list or whatever it is. And it'll just kind of get done for the most part.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Is there anything else that you've noticed that really works? I mean, do you just do SEO full time, right? Do you have any other like marketing things that you've been doing or? Even dipping in?
Yeah, so the other two areas I do is website design and development. Like I said, that's more of just like a personal interest I have, and like occasionally, if somebody wants to like redesign their website before doing SEO, I'll just be like, hey, like if you want, I'll either do this for you for free or like super low cost, just if you kind of get started with me on the SEO today. And then the other thing I got into just kind of like by chance is reputation management. Like just either helping people get more positive reviews from like existing customers to like whether it be Google, Facebook, Better Business Bureau, or like for the home type companies like Home Advisor, Angie's List, things like that. And that in combination with also removing like spam reviews or just like potentially like harmful negative reviews. Like if like you have a bad experience with a coworker who gets fired or something, and then they come back and like leave 15 negative reviews in a row about you anonymously. Like those are things that we can help out with.
What is your like tactic to get more reviews for businesses?
Yeah, so the first thing is really just kind of doing a re-engagement campaign, like just reaching out to existing customers and offering them a more clear call to action or incentive to even want to leave a review in the first place.
Right.
So that's like where we will start at first most of the time.
Yeah. One thing that was cool is I had this buddy who had a really badass course, but he pissed somebody off. So they made like a whole web page about the crappy course. And what we did for the reputation, because it ranked in like, whatever his course name was, like review, it ranked up there. So what we did is we did the thing with the press releases where we made some good reviews. We press released it, and we pumped it up, and we just booted it out of the top search results.
Nice.
So that was kind of cool for reputation management.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It seems like I've been getting a lot more spam lately, and it just seems like the whole world is just full of new spammers that are going crazy.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I get spam. Like I do SEO, and you have no idea how many emails a week I get from companies asking if I want SEO.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
They like misspell all half the words. I do good SEO for you. Do you do much stuff with GMBs? Are you in the GMB world?
So like in terms of like optimizing them, or in terms of like getting new GMBs, like in
just optimizing. I mean, and seeing them rank higher. Do you got any like? Because I know you get reviews, you optimize and post. I'm just wondering if you can go any deeper on those.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I don't have any like special tricks. Like the reviews we do, we obviously try and tailor them for conversions first of all. But then in doing that, if we can fit in like some of their keywords, like occasionally throughout the post, like we'll try and do that. We do the post, the questions and answers, keeping those active. And then just things like photos, like making sure that the profile is just like completely filled out, I've noticed helps. And then like geotagging photos. I don't know for sure if that does anything or not, but I've always just done geotagging the photos and like naming them with LSI keywords. And then just like having links to the GMB from all the primary social profiles and the website. Things like that.
I've noticed that some people, they hammer the GMB with links and it actually ranks it up, and then you get reviews and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sneaky way to do it though.
Yeah. I've always been like, I didn't really know if I should like send links directly to the GMB, because like on one hand, it's Google's property. So are they really going to penalize their own property? But on the other hand, like I don't know. I've always just like sent it more to my website directly, but if it works, I definitely open to trying that.
Yeah, no, they say that since it's Google's thing, they're not going to penalize it.
Exactly.
That's what they say. But every month, though, Google gets more strict on their GMB stuff. So
I know.
I don't really know.
It's always changing. I know during the like peak of the pandemic last May, one of my friends who has an agency of like, I think like, I don't even know how many clients. I'm not going to put a number on it, but a lot of pages he's managing, and like 80% of them got suspended.
Yeah.
And like he had no idea why. And it takes like months for you to like kind of go through the application process to get them like reapproved. And like a lot of them are like legit brick and mortar locations too. So
just like stay away from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess I just kind of want to know what are your visions for the Vine concept? What do you want to take your business?
Yeah. So the biggest thing for me is just to continue automating everything. Like I mentioned before, I at one point I was like too big a part of the entire process. So like I was slowing myself down quite literally.
Yeah.
So at this point, like I really just focusing on like, once I figure out my angle with like the cold email stuff and like everything's good with that. Like having somebody research the company's prospect, like handling the sending. So like the whole outreach is kind of handled. Having more defined cold callers, which is something I'm also working on right now. So really like I want to kind of just be the person that oversees all the different departments rather than spending too much time in a given section of the business.
Yeah.
Which I'm getting closer to that. And then at that point, like I want to shift to kind of like building my own personal brand and like you mentioned, like doing SEO for your own websites for yourself rather than like for someone else.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the long term for me. Like I want to get back to that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's always pretty good. Well, start now, man. It'll rank by the time you're there.
Exactly. Yep. Get out of the sandbox before I begin.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Why don't you just tell everybody like the best ways to reach you and all your links and things like that?
Yeah, sure. So the best way is just going to vineconcepts.com. There should be like a contact or email button on there if you ever wanted to reach out to me. That's definitely the easiest way to get in touch with me. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Are you active on like any social media or just, I guess you're SEO man?
Yeah, I'm working more on putting myself out there on Instagram and stuff just because like I've been reluctant for a while, but
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm trying Twitter. I'm definitely getting more involved in Twitter, like in a professional way. So like in the future, I'll be more there. So yeah.
Nice, man. Well, just one more question, I guess.
Sure.
Do you have any SEO tips for YouTube? Do you have any knowledge on that?
Yeah, so that's one thing I have not gotten involved in at all. Like I'm assuming just like beyond, I've heard like make the description as long as possible and include pretty much you can just like spam the hell out of the description with keywords and stuff. Like I've heard that kind of works. Other than that, like I don't do too much YouTube.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah.
Well, you're a rock star, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think everybody listening definitely got some value. At least now they can cold email everybody.
Yeah,
that was good. That was great, man. Thanks for coming, and thank you, everybody listening. Take care.
Thanks.